Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 15 of A Year of Change. Today we're starting in our third week of the program. So, as per usual, what you want to do is start with your weigh-in the morning. I did something really stupid and I didn't do my weigh-in this morning until after I had had a huge breakfast and then I went, oh. So, if that happens, do what we've done before. Take your 3 measurements and take the highest number. If you did what I did, and you made the mistake of having a breakfast beforehand, or in my case, a really big breakfast, or you've, had a lot to drink, or, at some point you remember during the day and go, I didn't weigh myself properly. Don't take an estimate. Whatever point that you're at, even if it's after breakfast, weigh yourself and let that be your measurement. Now, in my case, of course, it doesn't look like I made any progress at all, but I don't want to say, oh, well, maybe I had roughly, 1.5 or 2 pounds of food, because, in the long term, it's not going to matter anyway. But again, this is just sort of getting us into a pattern that I want to keep. So, even if it looks as if because you had a big breakfast that you gained weight, keep that measurement in there. Don't get discouraged by it, because chances are, if you followed along and you've been meeting your goals each day, chances are you have lost a little bit, but the weight of the food is going to add to that, and then whatever you had to drink on top of it and things like that. But, just next week when we do it, I just need to remember to weigh myself at the proper time. So once your weigh-in is done and you've documented everything on the MyFitnessPal website, then nothing else really is going to change. We still aren't going to track our fluids, and we're still not going to track condiments and stuff like that during the week. But we are going to make a small change. This is our first real food change to the program, and it's not really anything major, but it's very, very important. And I sort of want to do this as our first change because it's going to be something that you're going to want to continue on as things progress for the next year. And it's very dramatic, isn't it? Everyone's going, what is it? What is it? It's very simple, and all it is just water. Now, there's some of you out there that are going to go, good enough, I drink lots of water a day, and you're probably fine. There are others, and I used to be like this, where the thought of drinking just water is really strange because there's no flavor to it. There's, when you're used to drinking pop or juice or whatever. But what I want to start doing is, in the long run, we're going to be drinking a lot more water as things progress. But for right now, all that you need to do is look at it and just at some point during the day, even if it's all throughout the day, just make sure that you're bringing in 1 liter of water. You can still have your regular drinks and everything else because we aren't tracking anything, but you also just need the plain water without the sugar or anything else in it. There's a few reasons for doing this, and we're going to touch on a lot of these throughout the week. Just, not to say, oh, well, water's important for this or this or this. Again, practical things. But there's a number of different reasons why I want to do this. First and foremost, like I said, we're going to be drinking a lot more of it as things progress, and you're going to find that it's eventually going to be your go-to drink of choice, just because you're just going to get so used to it. Also, the sort of a cheating method that when you're drinking water, it does fill your stomach up, so you're going to be less hungry after you drink it. Now, generally what I do is, I will preface this by saying you don't need to go out and buy, 100 bottles of water. It's a waste of money. It's ridiculous. Generally what I'll do, though, is every few weeks I'll go and I'll buy, 8 or 10 bottles of water. Just the cheap, 1 liter bottles. They cost about $1, then whatever your deposit is. But, for $10, every 6 or 8 weeks, that's all I'll spend on it. And usually what I'll do is I throw them in my freezer. And what you can do is each morning when you take one out, it'll gradually thaw throughout the day, and it's always cold, which is really nice to have. So, and then once it's empty, you just refill it. You don't need to go out and buy a new one. I'm sure there are some of you out there that are going, no, plastic comes apart in little tiny pieces and you'll die. You'll be fine for a couple of months. And spending $10 spending $10 every couple of months is not going to break anybody. Because we're spending, you're probably spending the majority of that on, coffee or juice or pop or whatever it is. So just, and you don't have to start out by, buying all this water or anything. Go out, grab 1 or 2 bottles, and again, get the cheap stuff. You only need it for, you don't need highly expensive brand names. It's water. It's all the same. So if you just go buy, the 1 liter bottles, I find are the most convenient, just because they're big enough that, it'll last you throughout the day, but they aren't so small that if you are thirsty and you take a drink, you're not going to keep being thirsty. So, and the thing is that when you have, a liter a day, aside from it filling you up, things like that, in some way, I suppose, it's probably going to help clean us out as well. Not the same as, gobbling down X-Lax or anything, but, it is going to help. And in the long run, we're going to be drinking more and more and more. The whole 8 glasses of water a day is pretty much just discredited at this point. It's different for everybody. And the majority of the fluids that you're drinking now, you're getting all the water that you actually need. This is just something a little bit extra. And gradually, as the year progresses, you're going to find that you're going to want to replace some of your other regular drinks with water. I honestly don't buy soda pop very much unless I'm mixing it with something. But just buying it for a drink is something very, very rare. Every few months I might have something. And I used to drink between 2 and 4 liters a day before I started drinking water. And it was always it was really a foreign idea to me that I thought someone would just want to drink water. I was like, there's no flavor to it. There's nothing to it at all. But it sort of came out of necessity. The job I was working at didn't have anything available for drinking, like vending machines or anything. And I was there overnight, so nothing was open. And at the time, I didn't have a car. So I bought water bottles, and I thought, I'll just drink this throughout the night. And it just sort of got into a pattern where that's the majority of the stuff that I drink now. So, as I said, there's going to be a number of different things that we're going to touch on throughout the week. But the main thing is try to get 1 liter down a day. And you can start you can do it when you first get up in the morning. You can do it just before you go to bed. It doesn't really matter when. It's just as long as you can get that in there. So, as I said, normally what I'll do is I will buy 8 or 10 bottles and I throw them in my freezer. And as the week progresses, I'll just take 1 or 2 out a day and drink those down, and then I refill them. So that might be something that that might be where the expense is going to come in. Not so much buying the water, but if you don't have a water filter, if your tap water tastes fine, then drink your tap water. That's okay. It doesn't matter. The city I live in, our tap water smells like pool water because they put so much chlorine into it, and I don't really want to drink pool water, so I usually just put it through my Brita filter, which is always filled. So, and it's great because it gets everything out except for the little tiny filter balls, which makes no sense to me. But so all I do is I'll filter water, on my day off. That's when I refill all the bottles. I throw them in the freezer, and then they're ready for the week. So, and then like I say, every 6 to 8 weeks, just go out, buy new bottles. If you find that they start getting a little dingy because of the minerals that are in your water, that's when I replace those. When it gets to a point where I'm looking at it and going, this has a yellow tint to it, which isn't bad for you. It's just that it's all the minerals and metals and things like that are building up. So that's when I usually will take $8 or $10 and I'll go and I'll get 8 or 10 more bottles and recycle the old ones, put the new ones in the freezer, and everything starts over. So that's pretty much it for this. That's the only change that we're going to do. As the weeks progress, we're going to add more water. And once we start exercising, you're really going to want that because not a lot of things will quench your thirst the same way. You can still have your juice and pop and everything else, but once we start tracking our fluids, you're going to notice that there are some that you think are better than others, and they just aren't. There's some, you'll have a drink of juice or something, and it's going to cost you the same amount of calories as a meal. So that's another reason why the water is helpful, because there are no calories in it. There might be one or two from different metals or minerals that are in there, but those are insignificant. And the benefits that we're getting from it are going to be much, much more. So that is it. Also, I wanted to sort of touch on my video from yesterday. The counter hit 55, assuming that I didn't miss any. And I probably have said it in this one as well. So I'm going to try to be consciously aware of that, because I really didn't think it was going to be that high. I thought at the worst it's going to be in the 30s, maybe high 30s. Wasn't expecting to say 55 times over 15 minutes. So I do apologize for that, because it must be annoying. So I'm going to try to consciously stop doing that, make things a little smoother when we're doing the videos and things like that, and hopefully make them a little bit more enjoyable for you. So that's it. That's the start of this week. Add some water to your daily intake, and that's going to be something that's going to stay with us for the next year. So get used to it. If you're sort of turning your nose up at it, which there's going to be very few of you that are doing that, start out just with that 1 liter. And I know it sounds like a lot, but when you think about the amount of liquid that you would probably normally take in during the day, a liter isn't that much. And like I say, if you can freeze a bottle, take it out in the morning, and just have it going throughout the day, doesn't matter when it's done. Whatever you're eating, if you're eating something, really salty or something, I just said, again, then that's the perfect time to have it, so that you can wash it down that way, and you can still have your pop and everything else. We'll get to those down the road. For right now, though, the most important thing is to get the pluses going for us. And I just said it again. It's to get the good things started, so that we're in a good pattern. And so far, we've done that. We've gotten into a pattern of tracking our food. We've been doing that for 2 full weeks now. Then we got into a pattern to meet our goals, and we've been doing that for a full week. So we're doing well. And little changes like this, week by week, then we'll make the change that we need to improve our quality of life the way that we want. But for right now, again, I keep saying that's it, but this is actually it now. So thank you very much for watching the video. If you liked it, poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.